the Bank of Canada surrenders. They surrender. They give up. Tiff runs up the white flag. Tiff Macklem, Bank of Canada governor, runs up the white flag. No, I'm not running up any goddamn white flag, you fat bastard. Yep, actually he did. Sorry, Tiff. You know, your buddies? Not really. Does know I exist. But truth is, he ran up the white flag. He changed his tune with his little press conference about the Bank of Canada announcement. The Bank of Canada announcement, we'd already given the information in advance. We'd already told everybody there's no change, no nothing, no more changes. And we're going to be flat, no change. We told everyone for days previously. So, but Tiff has to have his little say. And he says, you know what? Looks like rate hikes are over. He puts that in his little report, the little handout he gives to everybody. Rate hikes. There's no more mention of any possible future rate hikes. Naturally, they say we will be vigilant about inflation. They have to say that. That's required. And yeah, they're vigilant, but the real truth is bullshit. It's over. There's no more Bank of Canada rate hikes coming in Canada right now. Well, you know, the world could turn upside down. I don't know. Reverse the magnetic poles. Who knows? It's the craziest things anybody's ever heard. But in the real world of 99% probability, there's no more rate hikes in Canada. It's finished. A lot of people want to say, oh no, but what of the U.S.? We can't go before the U.S. Yeah, we can go before the U.S. We have gone before the U.S. Oh no, it'll destroy the Canadian dollar. Well, guess what? I've lived through a 60-cent dollar. It's about 75 right now, 74 and change. I've been around when there's a 60-cent dollar. The world didn't end, okay? Now, what about the cuts? When will the cuts start? Because if the hikes have stopped, if the increases have stopped, when will the cuts come? Who knows? Nobody really knows. Tiff doesn't know. Yes, I do. I know, and I am the authority. Well, the reality is that it's going to be what happens is going to dictate. Listen, we get a couple of low inflation reports in a row. We get a couple of bad jobs numbers. We get bad GDP, gross domestic product numbers. There are going to be some cuts. But in all likelihood, the first chance of a cut is April at the soonest. I don't think so. I think it's the summer. I think it's like June, July, maybe the fall. Certainly by the fall. I think we'll definitely see some rate cuts. There's no question. Most likely June. Good chance of a start. That's a ways from now. It's just the end of January. So that's a while. June's a while. So what does that mean? That means that fixed rates will eventually continue to drop. Remember, there's no such thing as 2% again. 2% ain't coming, because this is the important thing to know. When Tiff starts the rate reductions, he only goes at it in a very specific way. You don't know. I'll go at it however I want. Yes, I do know, Tiff. I actually do. I know that it will happen 0.25% at a time. You see, this 0.5% change, these 1% changes, these are emergency changes. When we saw a 1% hike by the Bank of Canada a year and a half ago, it's nearly 2 years now, that's an emergency. That's a friggin' inflation emergency. That's full-blown terror, okay? Got to take immediate action. The change now of reduced inflation is very gradual. It's not finished yet. The target's 2%. We're nowhere near 2%. So the reductions will also be very gradual, 0.25% at a time. That's why if the reductions don't start until July, there's barely enough time to get a 1% cut in for the rest of the year. So everybody who's thinking of jumping on board variable, think carefully. It's not like you're going to wake up in November or December and find out that it's down 2%. That's very, very unlikely. You've got to judge these things correctly. So we're going to find out. We're going to see the fixed rates drop again. They went up slightly in the last 2.5 weeks, but they can come off again. It's going to be clear once the next inflation report comes in. If we have clear evidence that it's not extending, it may be flattening, particularly if we get lousy jobs reports, the rates will come down again on the fixed side. We're going to eventually get to a rate where a lot of rates are going to be in the 4s. That's reality. So the cuts are over, but for all you people asking for, hey, when is my home equity line of credit rate going to drop? Because it's like 7.7. I'm dying over here. When is my variable going to drop? It's like 6.45. I'm dying over here. You got to wait. And when it starts, it's not going to be like it went up. It's the elevator going up. It's the stairs coming down. That's how this thing is going to shape up. But will there be lower rates? Yes, there will. Now, everybody who gets mad because I'm talking about lower rates, hey, just reporting the truth. You can get mad. By the way, I know you'll get mad. Everybody who says, no, the rates are going to the roof, sorry, that's not what the balance of probability is. So, Tiff runs up the white flag. He's surrendered. No more rate hikes moving forward in Canada for now.